Hi guys, welcome to the studio and welcome to another episode of Creep on June 2025, and today is day 28 and it is my day for the collaboration. So yay, wow. First of all, I can't believe it's gone that fast, and secondly, honestly, I want to give a huge shout out to all the collaborators in this series. It has been, and still is because there's 2 more days to go, it has been amazing, guys. Absolutely amazing and so much fun. I have gained so much inspiration from the videos, from the other collaborators, and just projects that I've been doing have just taken on a life of their own. You know, it's like, oh, I'll give that bit a try, or I'll do something similar to that, and then it's just spiraled and spiraled and spiraled. Just crazy, but fantastic. This is, for those who aren't aware, this is a collaboration with Tracie Fox over at Tracie Fox Creative and her fabulous design team, along with other guest designers for this collaboration, including myself, and amazing. Completely blown away, guys. The links are all down below in the description box, as always, and if you click on the one that takes you to the daily collaborators calendar, then this will open up on Tracie's website, and if you click each of these boxes, it will take you straight to the video of the collaboration for that day, the collaborator for that day, and the video for that day. Check out their other videos, guys, because like mine, they might have others. I know plenty of them do have other videos apart from their designated day. But these numbers will take you to that designated day's collaborators video for that day. So today, if you click on this one, it will take you to this video that you are watching now. But if you go on to my channel, you will see plenty of other videos that, you know, what's the name? Correlate? Not sure. Can't think of the word. That coincide with Creep on June 2025. I'm not very big with words. So let's get into it, guys. So my daily base for today is this one, and I have numerous different prototypes, ideas and things lurking around that I have cut out of this. I've cut this out, I've shrunk it down, cut it out and tried different variations, and I've finally found one that I really like. So this is the tag, the tag base that I will be using, and this is my prototype. And as you can see, I just shrunk it down. I printed it 2 to a page, so I shrunk it. I think it was 2 to a page. Might have even been 4 to a page. So yeah, I just shrunk it down, guys. And no, it would have been 2 to a page. And it is based on Frankenstein's monster. Purely because of the poem, or well, part of the poem that goes with it. And it says, "And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor." Now, this to me just screams creature with these photos, well, these images in the kit, based on the words in this. So it is, "His eyes have all the seeming of a demon that is dreaming." Look at his eyes in these pictures, guys. He just looks so far away, like he's thinking, contemplating, even that one, even dreaming of something. You know, he wants to be something more, and that's what I'm going with. And I have kind of based mine on the Penny Dreadful series. Well, based my logic, should I say, on the Penny Dreadful series that I have been rewatching, because the monster in that is, you know, always searching for something more. He wants to be more than just this monster. So yeah, so I've created a little pocket on one side with those images in, because, you know, they're just so, I don't know, they just speak to me. This little thing here will go on here. I couldn't find the one that I printed out for this smaller version, but I'll cut it down and it will go on there. And then on the back, excuse me, I have used some of the images from the actual kit pages, some of the Frankenstein pages. Yeah, and then I used a Tim Holtz quote, which says, "Do more than exist," which to me just sums this little creature up. Well, not little, but this creature up in so many ways. And then, as you can see, I sewed around each one of these with a stitch that kind of duplicates a stitch that would have been used, that we associate with Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster. So this is what we are going to recreate today, but we're going to recreate it in the kit page size, the tag size. Now on this one, I already glued it together before doing this bit and sewing through it. So this one, I'm going to leave it open. I'm going to glue all the pictures onto this side first, cut them down, and then I'll sew through it, then I'll glue it together so the back doesn't have the stitching on. Although I do like it, but yeah, I do kind of like it, but no, we'll do it the other way. Yeah, so as I said, we're going to use this, and we're going to not so much upscale, but you know, we'll do the full-size version. This is, if you've watched some of my other videos for the actual journal that I'm making for this, I got some of the pages mixed up, so I printed them out small scale on here. I labelled them as I printed them, then I knew what order they were going in, but then because I'd done some of my journal in the wrong order, I then rearranged these pages to tie in with my journal. So this was just like to one side, pinned up so that I knew what order to do the pages in. I have finished doing that now, so then I figured I'll just turn it into an actual little journal, which is how I was going to originally do the journal for this project, but I went in a different direction. Yeah, so there is a video up already if you haven't seen it on how I did this. It is sped up with music, but it's simple to follow along. Yeah, and I just love that little book image in the kit. It worked perfectly for the front of this, and then I just used one of the background pages, shrunk down obviously. I used the background page for the back of the journal. But yeah, so it's just so cute. I don't know whether to use it as a book charm or just like maybe stick it on the bookshelf like that. We'll see. So yeah, that's a different thing. And here we have the images that I'm going to be using throughout. Okay, so these were the pages. These are shrunk down 4 to a page. These ones were normal size, I believe, but I think they're going to be too big. And then these were shrunk down to 2 to a page. So I've got different sizes here of the same pages, which are the 2 Frankenstein's monster pages in the journal kit. So like I said, here we have them printed full size, and as you can see, I have literally just gone around and cut out the images like so as individual images, like so. I love that picture, it makes me so sad. So these ones here, that is that one, just cut straight across there. Yeah, so that's that one, and so on and so forth. That is that big piece there, which I think I did use. Yeah, and as I said, so on and so forth. So that's the full size version. This is the 2 to a page size version, and then this is the 4 to a page version. This is the size that I used for this one, the 4 to a page version. So I am thinking, because we're scaling up, that maybe the 2 to a page size might work better on this one. So these ones will work so much better. Yeah, and they don't have to be in that order. But yeah, I did like playing with these. So yeah, that is just way too big. Yeah, those ones. So the full page versions are just way too big. I think because I use these on there, they're going to be a bit small. Although if I used those, I'm going to say I could get more on. But do I want more on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I use these smaller ones, I could get all those images on, couldn't I? Whereas if I upscale, then I'm only going to get those 9 on. Although, yeah, I did use some of them on the front anyway, so, right, that's what we do. So we will use the 2 to a page ones. Is that one? No. That is the one. No, it's not. That's the one actually from the kit. Yeah, from the ephemera. Okay, so I've got 3 of each page, so I need that one, and I counted wrong actually, because I counted the same page twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, yeah, so I used all 9 images on the back. I was counting the same page twice because I've got the same page printed out 3 times. Okay, so yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why did I count 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Right, so we're going to use 2 to a page. Alright guys, so anyway, I'm going to just nip off camera and cut these out, because you don't need to watch me doing that. Of course, I will stand that up there as my guide. I'll cut these out and I'll cut these out, and then I will be back. Okay guys, so I have cut all those out. I have cut the tag off the end of there because that's what's going to make the pocket. I have cut all the little images out. Those 2 I've left together because they're going to glue together anyway. Yep, so those are the images I'm going to use on the tag. I am keeping it the same. These are just the little scraps that came off that I have kept to one side, because I'm not going to do it in this video, but with the scraps I had left over before, I just created this like little collage masterboard that we can cut up into tags and things. But yeah, so that's always a good thing to do. What I want to do now is, though, these are actually, right, the tag bases are printed on normal 80 GSM copy paper, so I do want to back them to make them a little bit stronger. These ones are printed, the actual kit pages that we cut up are printed onto 120 matte photo, GSM matte photo paper. But yeah, so like I said, I'm just going to use a scrappy piece of card that I've been inking and gluing on, and I'm going to pop that on the backs of these to make them a little bit sturdier. Okay, so I'm going to start off with some just glue stick in the middles. I mean, you don't have to do both sides. We're going to fold these in half and glue together anyway. So you don't have to do both sides. I'll do that one in a minute. You could just sandwich the card between. But yeah, I'm going to glue around it nonetheless. So just put some glue on the edges, making sure it really sticks down. It's not coming out very well. Okay, so I'll just pop that pretty much anywhere on here because it's a scrap piece of card anyway. Let's burnish that down good. I have been using my large jelly plate brayer for some of these because I want them really sturdy. Alright, this cardstock is just black kids cardstock. It's 210 GSM I think, but it doesn't actually feel that thick. It is thick, but it doesn't feel that thick. So this tag will be very sturdy when it's done, which it kind of needs to be because we're going to sew on it. It doesn't matter what kind of glue you use for this, just use whatever glue you are comfortable with. At the moment I am just working my way through all the different glues that I have in stock that need to be used. So at the moment I'm using this Art Craftaholic tacky glue. In my glue gun thing I have Anita's tacky glue. That's just kids glue stick that I discovered during lockdown and I've used ever since because it is amazing and it's only like £2 a tube. I have loads of them. Well, oopsie daisy, that doesn't matter actually because I'm going to cut that tag bit off there, that topper bit off there to make it square. Yes, okay, Melody. They're not happy because it's raining, the cats. We've gone from having extortionate heat temperatures, to now being pretty cool and rainy. So the cats aren't happy. Mind you, neither are the humans. So let's kind of just cut this down and cut around it. Just use the cutter. So I am rubbish when it comes to cutting in a straight line. I don't need it to be perfect right now anyway. And I will cut a little bit of that off because, as I said, I'm going to square that off anyway at the top. I won't be leaving the black border around that, but I just want it to dry. So this obviously is going to stay as a tag shape. I can't glue in a straight line either, apparently. Oops. Okay. That's fine. Alright. So I'm just going to cut around these. Right, so they are now backed, and just to make sure I get this straight, because I am hopeless at folding as well as cutting, I'm just going to get out my scoreboard, and I want it obviously folded onto the back of it, so I'm just going to push that up against that edge there and then fold that up to that edge. Line it up top and bottom and then just give it a nice crease down the middle. There is a line because there was a little like scory thing there for if you wanted to make it into like a little booklet type thing. But yeah, so that is good for me. That when glued together now will be very, very sturdy, which is pretty cool. Okay, so we're going to work on the, well, actually it doesn't matter which side you work on, but I want to work on the right hand side of the tag. Okay, so move that out of the way. Keep that to one side. Okay, so then it's just a case of like laying them out really and then gluing them on. So, and then kind of cut off the excess. So I had this at a bit of an angle there like that, This one went there making sure I didn't cut his head off. You know, the poor guy's been through enough. So let's just see, lined that up there with the top. Then I had that piece just kind of under there like that. Then that piece went up there like so, and this piece went down there like so, and then this piece just kind of tucked in there like that, but I cut the top off. Okay, so I'm just going to replicate that. So to begin with, we need to glue this down. Obviously we cut later, so I'm going to use my neatest tacky glue for this. Get it working. You could use glue stick and whatnot. We are going to sew around this, so I'm not overly fussed about getting right to the edges. Some of it's going to be cut off anyway. Okay, so line his head up with that fold there. Kind of look through the paper. Yeah, his head's nowhere near that, so that's good. So we can move him over a tidge. Okay, maybe not because the glue's sticking. Right, so that can stay there like that. So I'm just going to fold that down there, and then I know roughly where my edges are for putting the next pieces on. Actually, you could do that as well. Instead of cutting them off, you could just fold them over on this side. Makes a nice neat edge. Not that it matters because we're going to sew it shut anyway. Right, so let's see. Am I still in focus? Yes, I'm sorry if the lighting's off today, guys. Right, so I had this at an angle there like that. That piece went up there like so, so we could actually put that on now as well. And then the next piece down will be this one. I'm not bothered about cutting the excess off that you're not going to see, because it just helps give stability to the tag. Oh yeah, that's what I did as well, because that's cut at an angle there. I kind of just tucked that under and that little bit just touching or just over. So that's what that were there, and then it just kind of tucked him in there, but as I said, I cut that off, although I did put him to that side, so I have that a bit leaning in a bit further by the look of it. And that doesn't work on this one, so yeah, just tuck him down there like that. So it's slightly different to the other one, but that's okay. Okay, so this one and this one go down next. Okay, so again, make sure we don't cut his head off. So his head is like right on the very edge there, like so. That's fine. Then this one goes on. Let's position this one again, and then we know where we're putting it. Okay, so we need it to cover the top and the bottom of the tag. Push it up a bit. That one covers this. Alright, so I'm going to glue that. No, I'm going to actually glue this one down first, just a little bit in the middle, and then I can tuck these in the relevant positions. Okay, so that one needs to tuck under there like so. No, over there and at the back of there is how we had it. But it also needs to cover the tag. Right, so that's how that one works. Oh, and I've just realised, I'm going to say I've just realised I haven't inked around them, but we're sewing around them, so you're not going to see it. You're not going to see it anyway. Right, so what is this going on here? Alright, yeah, so stop trying to line that up. So I need it to cover all this and all that side bit for it to work. Although there is a word going at the bottom, so a little bit showing isn't the end of the world. Alright, so that is going to go there, and then this one is going to tuck in there like that. Yes, okay, so again, let's just do a little bit in the middle. As I said, we're sewing over it anyway, so it doesn't actually really need to be around the edges. Alright, girls, that's enough. Okay, cool, so we're getting a bit more of him on this one than we did on that one. That's good. Right, that didn't quite glue down, so okay. And then that one glues to there. Okay, so pop that in position there, and then there. And then just snip the top bit of that, and that one can just slot in there like that. Just going to slightly round the corner a little bit. You could use a corner rounder, but I think it'd be too big for that bit. Alright, and he's just going to sit nicely there. Just peeking out of there. We need to leave room to sew around it actually, so okay. Alright, so we're happy with that. We don't want too much of it covering up the skeleton, but we need enough of it to be able to do a little sew, a little stitch around. Alright, so I am happy with that. Yeah, I'll give it a burnish from the back and make sure it's all stuck down. And then we cut the excess off. Okay, like so. And then this bit. Close the tag up and carefully cut that without cutting through the middle of the tag, although as I said again it's going to be stitched anyway, so it won't matter too much. Alrighty, I like that. That's good placement. Okay, so now we're going to bring out the sewing machine, guys. Oh, hang on, before we do that, because we can do the sewing in one go, we need to place this, and I turned it that way. Do I want it that way or that way? We'll have it that way. Okay, so So I'm just going to leave a little border around, bring it up a little bit, and mark it there. So I'm going to cut it there. Too short. That was too short, you doofus. Actually, it doesn't matter. That doesn't even look straight. It is, but it doesn't look it. Okay. So I want it that way. Yeah, we'll put it that way. Just want to round this corner edge a little bit. It helps it stick in better. And oh, I'm going to say, have I now cut this too big, too small for the quart? But I haven't. Okay, so 1 second, guys. Alright, guys, sorry about that. Okay, so this quart needs to be cut down to fit on this, but there's plenty of room in between, so I'm going to go not right to the bottom, but close to the bottom, and I'm just going to do a wavy cut, bit of a chunk out of some of it. Wavy, wavy, and then we're going to ink it anyway, so a little bit like that, and then I'm going to come in where these like little blankish spaces are and take a few little chips out like so with the scissors, make it look worn and tatty like so, and then I'm going to take my distressing tool and give it a good scratching. You can do this with scissors, you don't need a distressing tool. I have the Tim Holtz one because when I bought it, it were on offer. I think it were about £2. But anybody who is a sewer and you've got the little thread things, they are the same as this. You can get round thread cutters and it's the same thing. But as I said, you could do the same with your scissors if you're very careful. You can then, you know, go along the edges with your scissors and it would give you the same effect. Just gives it that little bit of tatty edges, which the ink sticks to perfectly. You know, I hate that noise it makes. As I said, I bought that at the time because when I bought it, the website I bought it off was having a sale, and I think it cost me about £2, something like that. Okay, so I am using archival potting soil. I have used that pretty much throughout the whole project, so my poor little ink dauber is nearly non-existent. So I'm just going to go around the edges of this. Emphasize those edges, and then I'm going to just fold and swipe, fold in different directions and swipe, not too dark because we still need to be able to read it, like so, and it just makes it look a little bit more worn. Fabulous, and it fits on there brilliantly. Okay, and then you could give it a little bit of a scrunch and a little bit of an ink, and then carefully open it out. It's scrunched up there, and then you can glue it on kind of scrunched up. Okay, so let's go around the edges of this as well. did I sew around that? Oh yeah, I did sew around that on the other one, so that is what I will do. But what I did with this, where I sewed around this and then glued it on, but because we're going to sew through that while it's open, I will sew that on while it's open, and then when it closes, all the stitching will be on the inside. Nice and secure on the inside. Okay, so I'm just going to quite heavily ink that, and I'm going to do a little bit of the same and then just rough this up a little bit. Not too much, because it is a pocket. Okay, there we go, and the quote is going to be covering most of it up anyway, but oh yes, that just looks so cool. Alright, so I'm going to glue this on. This is a little bit easier to scrunch once it's gluey and what have you, because this was printed onto the 80 GSM copy paper, so it's a little bit easier to scrunch up, plus it's not been backed or anything, so as you can see it's still all scrunchy from where I've just done that. So I'm just going to lay it on, and then we're just going to flatten it but also scrunch it a little bit, but so that you can still clearly read what it says. And how about that then? That just looks so cool. Nice and cool and worn. Let's just do that bit a little bit more. And just do this corner maybe. Across here. And maybe a little crease there. There we go, that's much better. Yes. And then you can very lightly just go over it again. Don't too dark on it, because obviously you still need to be able to read what it says, but it's a good way to grunge it up, which is what I've done throughout the whole of this process. So I'm going to sew that now before we do anything else or add any more ink or anything. Just pop that back on there and put it back on its stand. Without trashing the desk would be a good idea, Victoria. Okay, so let me get the sewing machine set up and then I will be back to you guys. Alright guys, so I'm back at the sewing machine, and before I ever do any sewing I always just run a piece of paper, scrap paper through. Yep, push the right button. I always just put a scrap piece of paper through to make sure everything is running smoothly. I do it on a straight stitch and then I will swap it to a zigzag stitch. Speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down, back stitch, all that goodness. Just to make sure everything is functioning properly. Yep. Okay, and then I will start on the actual project. That way I'm not ruining anything. Okay, so that gets sewn on, the pocket gets sewn on later. Alright, so let me just make sure I've got all these edges off that I want off. Yep, okay. Right, so as I said, we're going to zigzag stitch. And I'm going to do this very slowly, so I will speed it. I'll do some of it here with you now, but then I will speed it up. I always start in this bottom corner. I'm not doing a zigzag stitch. I'm not. I've just realised. On my machine, I don't think I can get you over there. Let's see if I can just take you out without the camera going off. Clearly not. Okay, there we go. On my machine I have lots of different stitches, and if you look here at number 16, it is that typical Frankenstein style stitch, so I'm going to use that. 16, okay, I'll pop you back in the lock exposure. Let's just do a test sew on that one with that design. fine. Not a problem. Okay. And I have left the machine settings as is. So my stitch length is 2.5 and the width is 5, or whichever way round it goes. I'm not sure. But I've just left it as it is on there anyway. So now going to put my speed onto low, and I'm going to line the needle up with the edge, so that when it does the thingy stitching, it's stitching between the two. So the middle of the presser foot there is getting lined up with that gap, and then I'm going to back sew a little bit and then just sew along nicely. And speed it up a little bit, but I am not very confident when it comes to the sewing machine, although I am getting better. Alright, and then we've come to that edge. So now I'm going to sew down this bit here. And I'm not bothered if it's overlapping anywhere. You know, this is Frankenstein we're dealing, well, Frankenstein's monster we're dealing with. It's not supposed to be perfect. And, you know, it's supposed to be a bit random and botched. Let's come into the end of that now. So when it gets a little bit to the end, because I'm not very good at gauging where I'm supposed to stop, so then I just do it with the back stitch, but it's also the needle up and down position. So I just do that until I'm satisfied, and then we shall turn it. We shall actually just cut that off, because I want to go around the edges with a straight stitch. But okay, see what I mean so far? So actually that did pretty well going around there. So we've come along here and we've come down here. So now I'm going to come, how did I do the other one? Let's see, a straight stitch direct. Alright, so I did actually come up that side on that one, so we will do that. In fact, no, we won't. I want a straight stitch around the whole thing, so we'll leave that, and we will come across here. Let's just start here a little bit. I mean, it might look a little bit weird that I haven't gone the whole way around with the same Franken stitch, but that's just how I want it. So, okay, and then, as I said, just do this one at a time as my threads come out. My needles come on thread. Typical. I hate doing this. It's an automatic threader, but I hate having to do it because I can't always do it first go. Is it through? Oh my goodness, look at that, first time on camera as well. Wow. Not a huge fan of the auto threader, but also my eyesight these days is atrocious, so also really glad of it. Right. That's too far back. Pop the needle there and do a couple more stitches over what we've already done, and then turn and keep going. I'm just going to do that all the way around these little edges, basically, apart from the actual edges of the tag, because I want to go around the actual edges with a straight stitch. Okay, so I will do that off camera and then I will be back when I am done. Alright guys, so I have been around this thing with the Frankenstein style, come on, right, there we go, with the Frankenstein style stitch. Try saying that 2 times fast, 3 times fast even. Yeah, and I am really amazed by the neatness of my stitching. Yeah, that is probably the neatest stitching I have ever accomplished whilst using the sewing machine. But I have used the sewing machine that much throughout this collaboration with makes and things like that, that, you know, I feel like I am now well and truly familiar with it. I do still question sometimes where I need to stop and that sort of thing when going, like coming to the edges and going around corners, but yeah, I have so much more confidence with the sewing machine now. So, I love it. Okay, so now I'm just going to sew this pocket on there like that. And that is going to be sewn on with a straight stitch. So we are on there now. Ready. And I'm going to be brave. I'm not gluing first, I'm just going to actually clip. So, and as I said before, I am leaving a gap around. Not a big gap, but I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap around. Bit of a border. Just get it straight. Although, to be honest, I'm really not fussy if it's straight or not, as long as it's on. Okay, so I'm going to go about there with it. Sorry, I was off camera then, but I was just repositioning. Okay, so let's put that up there a little bit. Oops. Again, with the tag open, so all the stitching will be on the inside once it's closed. And I will, right, so put it on the bottom because I always start from this bottom edge and go up. Alright, we'll get there in a minute. Yeah, so just stitching around the pocket, and I am lining the edge of the pocket up with the edge of the presser foot. So, well, not this edge, but this inside edge there. Alright, yep. Okay, so let's just go around, back stitch a bit. Whoa, slow that down. Back stitch a little bit. Let's just go around that. In fact, I have just realised I don't need to go around it, or I should have gone around it before I stitched it on, because I'm not stitching that bit, am I? Because it's a pocket. That's why that got stitched on before I put it on, so that it had stitching all the way around it. Okay guys, don't make my mistake. Great stuff. Right, anyway, that's now stitched on nicely there, but now I want to come across this bottom edge to stitch that on. So again, there like so. You leave the same amount of gap, then your stitching will always be kind of even. And back stitch a little bit, and up we go. Okay, So now I just have stitching around that bit there, not the whole tag, but I'm happy with the whole pocket, but I'm fairly happy with that. Alright, so now, after all that, we're going to close the tag and stitch around the whole thing. You can glue it closed, but there's stitching inside, so it's going to make it bulky. I'm happy to just close it up and stitch around it. Although, actually, I might glue the inside, because if some of the stitching starts coming undone on the inside, then, you know. So, let's get this tacky glue, and let's just not... Let me move the camera first so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm not going anywhere near these edges, but I am just going across the stitching with a little bit of this glue, just to hold that stitching in place once the tag has been sewn shut, and then just a little bit in the middle, but mostly the stitching. Okay, and then of course we just stick that together. It's not really going to hold and make much difference just yet. Give it a good burnish. I'll use my brayer for that actually. So you can see I'm just off camera, but I'm just using my brayer for that. A really good little burnish down in the middles where we've just glued. Okay, and now we're going to straight stitch so around the whole tag. Alright, now I always like starting in this bottom right corner, don't know why, but I do, and I'm going to line it up. I am going to now line, you can't see very well, but I'm now going to line this edge of the tag up with the edge just a little bit in from the edge of the middle part of the foot. I'm not going to line it up with that, because then the stitch will be right on the edge, but if I just come in like halfway between that gap, then it'll still be on the edge, but it'll be near the edge. Okay. It might struggle a little bit because there's a few layers for it to go through, and this machine does not like that. Yeah, okay. I'll just try and keep straight. This is my issue, is the keeping it straight. Okay. Well, it's not doing too bad. It's not liking it, but it's not doing too bad. It just doesn't like the thickness of it. Will you stop? Honestly, tell it to stop and it keeps going. Okay. And then get ready to back stitch once it hits that bottom stitching. Just back stitch a little bit, and then we are done. And of course it just avoided the stitching at the pocket there because we cut it shorter. Okay, so there we have it. That is the bit. Well, that's pretty much the pocket done. Well, the tag. Alright, so I'm loving how thick and sturdy this is now. I'm going to leave some of this on and cut a little bit off, but I'm actually going to leave some of it. Just a little bit hanging there. We are now done with the sewing machine, so I will just reset the desk. Okay guys, I think we're pretty much back to the right setting. Right, so there we have, let's just, there we go. Alright, yeah, you won't see that one because I used it. I was just looking for the black piece of paper, but I used it, didn't I, because it was a scrappy piece. Alright, so there we have our fabulous tag. And I just love it. So of course it's Frankenstein's monster. And as I said, it possibly would have looked better with that stitching all the way around as well, but I just wanted it straight on this edge. Although I could have done the Franken stitch in there and then done the straight edge before gluing it all together, but yeah, I just figured I'd do this one a little bit differently. And just glue that tiny edge down. So we now have pretty much the same in two different sizes. Actually really loving that, because obviously it's a bigger size, so you see more. This one I stitched around a little differently. It's more of an arch shape, where that was squared off. Stop it. But yeah, but you're seeing a little bit more of him there and a little bit more of him there. And here, I just love it. I really love it, guys. Really love it. I love the bigger one better than the smaller one. Anywho, so now on this side, instead of the Franken stitching there, we have the beautiful background. But then we have these gorgeous little, well, I say gorgeous, you know, for a creature, he's quite cute. But we have these little images here. Some was left over from the kit page that we took them from. So we have this one, which is that one. Let me find what I did with them. Obviously everything's moved because of using the sewing machine. So that again, that's that one. We don't use that one. We need, yeah, we're using the bigger images, aren't we? So maybe I have to cut them out again. That is that one. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to cut them out again, because that one we used on that side. Okay. So that's that one. And actually that one's missing, isn't it? Because that was part of the kit pages. So which ones are we missing? We're missing those two, and I think them are from the actual kit. Yes. So, ooh, maybe I need to print another. Oh no. Ah, no, I know where they are. They're here. They are here. Yes. So these are some from the actual kit, Ephemera. Alright, so we're using those. Oh, what did I do? No, stop moving things around. I forgot which images I was using. So, definitely use it. Right, it was those ones, wasn't it? We're using these. Right, so, yeah. These are images from the actual Ephemera kit. These were from the pages. And these are from the actual ephemera kit. Now that originally I had put to one side, I was going to cut that lamp out because it says, doesn't it, over lamp, well it says over, which means over. Yeah, and the lamp light or him streaming. So the lamp light over him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. So I was toying with the idea of cutting that out and just gluing it. But what I might do, like here, this was a prototype as well, but I didn't quite like this one. I cut the lamp out so it was over him, but just now thought if we cut around this, we could just glue that to the background, couldn't we? Because the pictures are going to layer up. So let's do that then. Now, which is these? This is the good image. This one, see, it's not very visible, but my printer decided to have a hissy fit and it printed with lines on. But seeing as how it's going to go into the bottom half of the tag, you're not going to see it anyway. So let us, and it gets rid of some of that bare space, but I love that colouring. So let us just roughly, again, like we did with this, just jiggy-jaggedy cut around this, like so. Just take a little chippy out of there, and like this. We're going to ink it, not that it matters too much, but it'll get rid of some of the white space from where we've cut. And as I said, this is going inside the pocket, so it doesn't need to be too perfect. You're not going to see it. Alright, I like that. And of course we can just keep it straight, because it's kind of if we put it in the middle of the tag, we can keep the edges straight, although I think I would like to just maybe angle them a little bit. Yes, I like that. Okay, so let's cut that. And then again with the, what have I done with it? Oh, I'll get back up. With the distressing tool, let's just get in there and go over it. We don't need to do the bottom half because you're not going to see it. Alright. Oh, see daisy. Okay. Well, we're gluing it anyway, so alright. We'll glue that back on where it's my potting soil. In fact, I'm going to go over this with jet black, because it's a dark, moody image anyway, and we do want it to stand out that little bit more. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry guys if you heard my stomach grumbling then. I've already eaten as well, so, you know. Alright. As I said, we don't need to do all of it because that is going to be hidden in the pocket. And we'll piece this back together. I mean, we've done it with the journal, so we might as well do it with some of the ephemera as well. Make it look like it's been pieced. Okay. So can clearly see the lamp, and then that bit on the top. Yes, okay, so let's just zoom out a little bit and let's tacky glue this down. It is really good, is this Anita's tacky glue. It doesn't dry as quick as art glitter glue. It is a lot cheaper than art glitter glue. I love art glitter glue and I will not stop using it, but for little bits in between, Art glitter glue is perfect for filming projects, you know, those of us who do videos and film, because it sticks almost immediately. Sometimes that can be a bit of a downside to it, because if you get it on just in that not perfect position, you've no wriggle room with it. This isn't too bad for that. So, but if like this, although I am filming, I'm not in a hurry for it to dry immediately, then, you know, the Anita's Tacky Glue is brilliant. And as I said, it is a lot cheaper than glitter glue. It's very similar, but it's cheaper. And I have a box full of it from lockdown when we couldn't get art glitter glue. Yeah, so... And if you have one of these, then it works in this as well, which is fabulous. I love that tool. Absolutely love it. I do have a video on it. It's not sponsored in any way or anything like that. It's just, wow. I don't know, I've got it. I don't know how I've ever managed without it. Right, and because that does have lines on it, as I showed you, I'm just going to go over it with some potting soil that's left on my ink dauber. Should have really done that before I put it in, but, you know, and then we're going to ink around anyway. So, and I'm going to use the potting soil to do the inking around. So, I'm going to G up the edges. Go under the pocket tab a little bit, because you will see that. Oh, I love it. I love it. And on this side, you see how nice and pristine that looks. Oh, sorry, autofocus, there we go. Yeah, how nice and pristine that looks. What I should have done with that actually is like I did with the pocket. First I should have scrunched it and just gone over it in a few places with ink, but that's fine. And now with a little bit of ink on the dauber, I'm just gonna lightly go over these plainer patches to dull it down a little bit, because we want it looking old and grubby. Well, not grubby, but you know what I mean. Want it to look like it's aged and it's had some use. So, let's get them edges really inked. Oh, love it! No, I'm not going to put a topper on it or anything, because I mean, I could go through there, but I don't really want to. I'm happy not to put a topper on that. I'm happy that looks like it's been like glued back together. Yes, love it. Can still see the writing. Let's just glue that bit down a bit more. Love it. Yes. So now we've got the lamplight, and we have, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming. So we have those two. Sorry guys, I am just quickly answering a message. Okay, sorry. Yes, so that ties in with that, because this I kind of almost want to be the front of the tag. And that's the back. So we have those two from the kit page, the kit pages, and then these are from the actual ephemera pieces. So we want that one and that one. I love those images. So yeah, and those are the other Frankenstein images that I do love, but I love these more. Right, so let's put these back together in this little tag, which is where they were. And these ones I am going to back because they are just printed onto matte photo paper, but I want them more sturdy, and I'm going to back them onto some black cardstock, but not the one that we used last time because that's grubby. I have some, where is it? I have some that I haven't used. Where have I put it? Honestly, guys, I never find anything when I want it. It was right there. Where did I put it? That's not it, because that's from the die cuts. That's the other daily pages. Where on earth did I put that? That's red cardstock. I wonder if red cards... No, I want black for this one. Oh, that's what we need. That's what we need. That's what we need. We need the quote for the bottom, don't we? Let's sort that out in a minute. So on this one I put do more than exist, and I know there is another one in here that says that, although it is white on black, not black on white, not white on black. But that is the do more than exist, so let's just peel that off and temporarily put it there. Yeah, it's not staying that colour, but let's see if there's anything else. Let's have a look on the black versions and see if there's anything else. So this is the Tim Holtz Ideology, and it is Small Talk. So we've got have an open heart. Get open heart surgery. I suppose that's quite appropriate for Frankenstein's monster. Never give up. No, not really. Travel the world over to find the beautiful. Now that would be good. Make a difference. Take risks, choose to shine, stay curious. That one's a good one. Stay strong, that would work. Everything has beauty. I like that one because it is a creature, or perceived as a creature. So yes, I am liking that one. That doesn't go there. That goes there. That one. Not that it matters much, but yes, we will have that one. Everything has beauty. And we will just quickly go around that with some black soot, because these stickers do have a little white edge on them. So let's just dip around that with black soot. Let's use some tacky glue just to doubly stick it down. They are very sticky, are these stickers, but of course they are, you know, if we want them to be permanent, we need a bit of extra help. And that will go there across the stitching. Everything has beauty. Love it. Try and centralise it. And then I'm just going to gently go over the wording with the potting soil, so it's not white, it is more of a browny coffee colour, so it ties in with the rest of it, but you can still read it. Love it. Yes, see, so everything has beauty, even the monster. Oh, I love it, 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 I do. Okay, so I am quickly going to go off camera now and source this black cardstock, because that is just really annoying me. Found it. Yeah, right under my nose actually, but there was something in front of it. So I'm going to just back these onto black cardstock, and then I cut around them, and then I will be back. Okay guys, so I have backed them, and I just thought whilst I was cutting these out that because I said I have kind of based my creature on the creature from Penny Dreadful series, which if you haven't watched, honestly you need to, I thought that I would give you a little bit of a history about him from the Penny Dreadful wiki site, Wikipedia site. So this creature, again, oh, let me go back. So yes, this creature was created in the this creature was created in the former lab of Victor Frankenstein. He was born covered in blood and went hysterical, most likely from pain. Not surprising. Victor soon abandoned the creature due to being frightened by his creation, leaving him all alone. When he finally leaves the place of his creation, he learns of both the cruelty and mercy of men in a single night, during which he was beaten unmercifully by a mob, then given food and a home by Vincent, an aged actor. He is given a job as the stagehand at a theatre, where he learns of performance arts and an exceptionally well-rounded vocabulary. It is here that he is given the name Caliban, after the subhuman son of the malevolent witch Sycorax and primary antagonist in William Shakespeare's The Tempest. Okay, and then where are we? So where are we? Where does it say? So, appearance and personality. The creature is distinctly male and covered in surgical scars from where his body parts were stitched together. I can't cut and read at the same time. His physical description rejects the popular Hollywood portrayal. This is the Penny Dreadful version. The Hollywood portrayal of a flat-headed zombie-like figure with bolts in its neck, and instead strikingly faithful to the description the creature had in the original Mary Shelley novel. So the one in Penny Dreadful is more human-like, unlike this kind of creature. The Mary Shelley novel. This, like his counterpart from the novel, he has beautiful black shoulder-length hair, horrific yellow eyes, black lips, and is blessed with superior speed. I don't actually remember that about him, but okay, I'm rewatching the series anyway, so we shall find that out, no doubt. Where are we? Yeah, so he's blessed with superior speed, durability, and strength to that of mortal humans. However, he does retain facial scarring, similarly, I can't say it, to the Hollywood portrayal. Despite his appearance, destructive capabilities, and amazing athletic prowess, it is clear his intelligence is perfectly developed as well. To this detriment, he also shares the same emotional needs as humans and is painfully aware of his artificial nature and monstrous appearance. Yeah, I love this character in the Penny Dreadful series because he does have that humanity about him, and as the series progresses, he does start remembering his old life, which makes it kind of all the more tragic. So painfully aware of his artificial nature and monstrous appearance. It is clear that the creature is desperately lonely as a result of both the circumstances of his creation and the fact that he is the only one of his species. This leads him to act in a cold, ruthless manner, particularly towards his creator, whom he hates for abandoning him following his creation. His determination not to be alone results in him threatening Victor Frankenstein with the death of all he loves unless he creates for him an immortal bride. When the creature grows impatient with Victor's progress, he murders the respected Professor Van Helsing in order to remind Victor of what awaits him if he does not obey. The creature, nonetheless, possesses a deep compassionate side and generally does not wish to harm others. Despite the revulsion of him, he is shown several small acts of kindness by Maud, an actress at the theatre where he was taken in, but he tragically mistakes her attitude for one of romantic interest and is almost driven to attack her in grief and anger when she later rejects him. Yeah, that's quite sad, is that? From what I can remember, I think she's blind in the show. I mean, she touches his face and everything, like blind people do. But yeah, I think, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure she is blind. This results in the creature being dismissed from his job at the theatre. Though Vincent expresses regret at doing so, and in his heartbroken state... though Vincent, the theatre owner, in his heartbroken state, he is willing to let Victor shoot him. The creature is then willing to let Victor shoot him, yeah. Victor's pity is stirred by the sight of his creature reduced to such remorseful suffering. However, afterwards he begins using the body of the deceased, I'm not going to mention the name, to craft a mate for the creature. So, let's read the other bit, because where is that? Right, so the creature to Victor, when he threatens him, has this quote to say: "What a simple thing it is to snap your neck. You are so fragile, you mortals, such things of skin and air, such things of the past. The future belongs to the strong, to the immortal races, to me and my kind. Look upon your master." Yeah, so honestly, it's a brilliant series. And I'm really happy that I'm going back through it. I mean, I have the DVDs box set from years ago when it first come out, so I'm not sure of where you can watch online. You can watch on Amazon Prime, but you have to buy each episode, which sucks a little bit because you should just be able to buy the box, like the set, which you may actually be able to do, which would probably make it a little bit cheaper. But there's quite, I can't remember how many series there is. There's 3 or 4 series maybe. But yeah, awesome program. It doesn't just follow Victor Frankenstein. It follows number of people, and you know, like there's Victor Frankenstein and his monster. At some point, well, as I just read, the Van Helsing is the Dracula shows up eventually, although there are vampires in it throughout anyway. Other creatures, there's werewolves, witches, voodoo and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, there is all sorts in there. It is kind of a mixed bag, which this Creep on June reminds me so much. All the characters and creatures, even Mr. Jekyll and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde make an appearance in the series. But yeah, it's pretty freaking awesome is what I can tell you. But I just obviously can't tell you where you can go and watch it, other than I'm in the UK, and as I said, I checked and I know you can watch it on Amazon Prime, but you do have to pay per episode. You may be able to watch it through YouTube, again, pay through episodes. There might be episodes on YouTube that you can watch for free, but you know, sometimes you get the odd one. But it really is worth a watch if you can get hold of it and you like that sort of thing. I wasn't sure I was going to like it, but honestly, I freaking loved it. Steve hasn't seen any of them, so we're easing into it gently because it's a lot for him to take in one go. And I must admit, some of it, because I've only actually watched the series once the whole way through, I didn't revisit it and watch it again like I've done with several other things like Game of Thrones and whatnot. I've watched a million times. But this Penny Dreadful, I watched it first time when it first come out, and then I didn't watch it again. So there's things in this that I don't remember until it's happening, and then I'm like, oh yeah, right, yeah, so that happens, and then, oh, this is going to happen next. And I know to some people that's like, well, you shouldn't be telling him what's coming next, but he is the sort of person that wants to know, because it helps him then understand what's going on. But yeah, so we will be revisiting. We've only done the first episode so far, but as I said, a lot to take in. And at the moment, we're also working our way through Desperate Housewives, so it's hard to focus on two different series at the same time. Yeah, so I'm happy to be revisiting it, is all I can say. And if you get the opportunity, then do definitely watch it. Right, so they have been backed, and I am going to go around those with the archival potting soil. Excuse me again, my tummy is grumbling like crazy. Okay, so let's go around the edge of this. I mean, I chipped into it with the scissors, but I am actually going to then just rough it up a little bit with the distressing tool. I'm going to say, what's it called? I nearly called it a pokey tool. Okay. But yeah, the creature in Penny Dreadful started out life as a kind of porter in a hospital. And yeah, this Miss Vanessa Ives, who is pretty much the focal character of the show, ended up in that hospital at one point, and he was looking after her. And eventually they do meet, the creature and Vanessa Ives, and he does jog her memory as to who he was. And there's just such a really sweet, not romantic, but just a really, really sweet embrace between them, and moment when she realises who he were and the sort, you know, what he did for her while she was in there. And it was just so heartwarming, and it just makes you feel for the creature even more. Yeah, it's awesome. I love it so much. I think that is before he goes back to Victor to ask him to create him a bride. But that doesn't go too well either in this series. He does indeed do so, but Victor then falls in love with the bride himself, and, well, yes, he's a bit reluctant to let her go. But, you know, she's a woman. Regardless of being recreated and patched together and this, that and other, she's a woman. She's got a mind of her own, and she's got big plans of her own. Oh, in Penny Dreadful, you also... there is also Dorian Gray. So, like, you get the little bit about the picture of Dorian Gray. Image, storyline and history in there as well, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So it also kind of makes me want to watch The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen with Sean Connery, because Dorian Gray's in that as well as Mina Harker. Is it Harker or Hark? No, I keep wanting to say Harkness, but that's Captain Jack Harkness in Torchwood, which has nothing to do with this. But yeah, so it's like this collaboration and these characters is just like, oh, I want to watch that. Oh yeah, oh no, I want to watch that. I really want to watch Underworld again. And I love the Underworld franchise. But yes, so it's like, I think tonight, now it's sprung to mind, I really want to watch the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So I think that will be tonight's movie of choice. We've already watched Van Helsing. Love, with Hugh Jackman. And I said Hugh Grant then. I love that film so much. Yeah, so we're just aging these a little bit, and again that's a little bit too light for my liking, so let's darken it up a bit. We want it to look like these images have been used a bit, and this one, but not too much, it's already fairly dark. And this one, oh, I love this one. This reminds me, this actually really does remind me of a couple of scenes in Penny Dreadful with regards to the creature, Caliban, as he's called. He does go back home when he remembers his family. But yeah, so tragic, very tragic, but also very heartwarming at the same time. Yes, so there we go. So we have that, and now we have these fabulous little images. So that one can go in there, that one down the bottom, and then that one, so they can just like layer a little bit and stagger in there like so. Okay, let's do that a bit differently. So there, so we just can't see his eyes, but we can see that there's somebody there. So, but you just can't see his eyes. And then obviously reading the poem makes you want to look at his eyes. That's what I think anyway. So he's just out of his eyes, should I say, or just out of view in these layered images. And then you read the quote and you want to look at his pictures, and then you see these on the back. This is like the transformation of Frankenstein from different part, like a skull, skeleton to that sort of thing. I don't know, whatever. Obviously his anatomy. But yeah, and there are his demon's eyes have all the his eyes have all the seeming of a demon that is dreaming. Well, I mean, look at those eyes. Does he not just look like he's dreaming of something? And there he looks very deep and lost in thought and pretty remorseful about something, or sad. I just can't help feel sorry for him. I really love this creature. Even these, you know, I mean, yeah, he looks a little bit evil there, and I think he looks more evil as a skeleton, to be fair. But yeah, that is my take on this. This day's collaboration page. So yeah, and of course there we've got the lamplight streaming over him. So there we are, guys. Yeah, so we have the wonderful tag. So this is the front, we've got the quote, we've got the images, and then on the back we've got him stitched together. Okay, so again, as I said, that is my contribution to the collaboration. I hope you had fun watching. I hope you had fun with some of the information about the Penny Dreadful series and the take on my creature. Well, my take on the creature from Penny Dreadful. Yeah, so there we are, guys. I love it so much. So yeah, anyway, thank you so much to Tracie for asking me to be a part of this collaboration this year. It is just freaking awesome. I love it. Yeah, and please do carry on checking out the videos, because there's 2 more days to go, guys. Yeah, so do please check out the next 2 videos, and of course, if you haven't, then please go and check out all these other fabulous days collaborators and their videos. There is so much inspiration to be learned, to be had, and a few people are doing stories, especially Bellaboo Creations. I'm just so enthralled in Belle's story of Poe and going on his travels and meeting all these creatures. It is fantastic. This is my today's collaboration video, but I will still have another couple of videos to come, potentially. Yeah, I will still have another few videos to come, as well as I have previous videos for you to watch as well. I'm saying to come because I'm filming ahead, guys. It's actually the 23rd today. But I just want to make sure I had this done and ready in case something comes up. But yeah, so me saying there's videos to come are probably videos you may have already watched, but yeah, not to confuse you much, you know. But anyway, thank you so much, guys, for joining me on this day, and oh, it's just fabulous. I love it, Tracie. This is an awesome kit. I really love it. Yeah, and take care, guys. Stay safe. Thank you so much for watching. Excuse me again. And please do check out all the links below and the other collaborators. And I hope you're having fun if you're playing along. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching, guys. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you all again in the next video. Bye!